everyone, and welcome to the Early Late Night Live Show. We are live every Wednesday night, 7 o'clock on Exeter Channel, I forget.
98.
98, thank you. I've only been doing this for 2 years. My name is KJ Traynor. I'm the co-host usually of this show. My brother Terry is the host. He's not here tonight. So you're stuck, or rather you're blessed with myself, my co-host Mitch Fortier, who is an expert in all things acting.
And I'm usually the co-host.
Yeah, we've both been promoted tonight. And our guest tonight is Steve Van Samson, who writes vampire stories, among other cool things, and knew who I was talking about when I said Yvonne DiCarlo just a few minutes ago.
That's absolutely correct. Lily Munster, man.
She's the best. Absolutely the best. All right, so we're going to start this show off with trailer trash, and we're going to have a little surprise. We're actually doing 2 trailers tonight because Terry's not here, and he can't tell us no. We're going to start with Ratched, which is a new Netflix series. We can't actually play that trailer because I guess I realized at the last minute that it wasn't appropriate for public access TV, but it is on our Facebook page if you want to check it out. But I'm going to give you the rundown on Ratched, and then we can give our opinion of the trailer, which we can't show tonight. All right. So Ratched is a new Netflix series. I believe there are 10 episodes. It was developed by Ryan Murphy, who did American Horror Story. It's based on the character that from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And the write-up is, a young nurse at a mental institution becomes jaded and bitter before turning into a full-fledged monster to her patients. This has already been released on Netflix, but my understanding is Mitch actually has dealt with One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest before, so I think we'll start the review off with Mitch.
Oh, snap. We so I've done a lot of theater over the years, and I don't know, maybe involved with 35 productions, either on stage or off stage, and I've probably seen twice that many, not being involved. And One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest doesn't come up very often, but it came up, and Milford Area Players actually did the production a couple of years ago. So it's the first time I'd actually seen it on stage. And I had seen parts of the movie. I kind of knew about the character and so forth because it's pretty classic. I mean, a lot of people will consider her like one of the greatest villains, because she's anyway. So that's obviously a little backstory of my history and a little something about Miss Ratched. But she is a force to be reckoned with in this particular production. And the trailer, if you get to see it, I highly recommend you go to watch it if you're into kind of thrillers. Is, in my judgment, was really intense. It sets it up exactly the way that I think that it needed to be in order to paint the picture of what it is that you're about to see, and what she's kind of representing. And the lead actress, Paulson, is that her?
Yeah, Sarah Paulson.
Sarah Paulson. And I've never seen her in anything substantial. I thought Ocean's 8, I think was the one thing that I saw her in. And then, so the trailer is just, in my opinion, really representative of Miss Ratched, the kind of intensity that she brought to the whole scene while she was there. So I give it a lot of credit for that. And it looked really cool. I mean, some neat shots for sure. It's really playing with the idea of being up close and intense, and then being far away and kind of picking up larger picture stuff. So that's kind of my overall review of the trailer.
All right. And Steve, what did you think of the trailer?
So this is made by the same people who make American Horror Story, and I think it does kind of feel that way. Mm-hmm. So I think it seems like it might be all right. Not super excited about it. I kind of like and don't like when these properties come out and they're like, all right, we're going to flesh out this villain, because a lot of times it totally takes away what made them great. You don't need to know more. We don't necessarily need to know more about Darth Vader or Annie Wilkes or anybody, So I don't know if that's really, worthy of a show, in my personal opinion. Sarah Paulson is pretty great. She has been on various seasons of American Horror Story, and I didn't love that show, as I said, but she's been in lots of stuff over the years. She actually was on a show that was kind of short-lived. It was I believe it was Aaron Sorkin, Yeah, Aaron Sorkin did Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip, and that was a really short-lived. I think it only had one season show, but she was really great in that. And I do like her quite a bit. But I don't know. We'll see. It definitely was intense in the way that American Horror Story tries to be. In my personal opinion, I don't want to insult anybody who's a fan of that show. I just feel like it's a little hyperbolic, a little. I don't know. I don't know if it's really horror, and I'll leave it there. Little over, drama over horror.
Hyper realism kind of a thing.
Yeah, I think it focuses on the thriller, the drama, that kind of stuff, which obviously you need for any good horror story. But I don't think the scares are ever actually there. This isn't going for horror; it's going for thriller. So maybe this will be more appropriate for those guys making the show. I don't know. As a trailer, I think it was pretty decent. She does come off a little too over the top evil, in my opinion. Like, she is evil all the way through, whereas in the original movie, it's played by Louise Fletcher. She was played a little bit closer to the chest, and you weren't sure right away. And she could easily be just by the book, nurse until she shows her fangs. You know what I mean? That's all I've got to say.
Oh, well, did we lose KJ? We very well may have. I may have just got another promotion.
Maybe she just, angry shut her computer because she loved the trailer.
How dare you talk about Miss Ratchet like that?
And she just really didn't like what I had to say about it.
Funny. I'll be back. There goes my promotion. Just like that.
Yes. We can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Yay. Actually, I don't know what happened. I think I just flipped my camera around. Yay, there we go. I'm back again. Sorry, we've been having trouble with the internet here. So if you can't hear me, just give me a wave or something. But
it's 2020. No one's gonna think too.
I was enjoying my promotion for the 2.5 seconds that lasted. So.
Well, I actually was going to say that I actually agreed with Steve. I was watching this wondering, why do we need to know the backstory of Ratchet? I'm not really sure I need to. But that said, I did think it was a great, I thought the production value was great. I thought it looked very pretty. I didn't think it looked intense. I thought it looked too pretty to be intense, if that makes sense. But
It's very polished.
Very, very polished. Am I frozen again or nope. I'm still there. Nope. Right. All right. So I guess Mitch, can you take over being a host for a second? Because I got to put on some earphones so I can hear you guys.
Okay. Yeah, good. Because I actually want to talk about the fact that I don't think that this is a backstory development for Cratchit, because it actually has that dynamic where she is confronted by one of the patients and they actually kind of turn on her and just more or less like the original film did. I don't know that it's an exact remake or not, but
they said it was supposed to be a prequel.
They did? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I didn't actually pick up on that through my obviously travels, but at any rate, I could say more, but let's go ahead and rate it.
All right. Who wants to rate it first?
So I'll go first. So I'm one thumb up because I think that it looks really well done in trying to create what I think Miss Ratchet's all about, honestly, and it looks really beautiful. And I'm one sideways because now I'm a little bit concerned about the whole backstory aspect of things and kind of creating something that maybe didn't exist before.
Okay. And Steve, what's your rating for that?
If I can go one thumb sideways, if that's an option, which I guess it is.
Yeah, you have the one, and then the other one, you can do whatever you like.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2 thumbs sideways. Yeah, it looks I definitely don't think it looks bad. It's just, I don't know. Not for me, I don't think, but hopefully people enjoy it. And, it does look like it will hopefully have some good performances in it. For sure, the cinematography, everything does look beautiful, as KJ said. It really does. But, meh. And
then mine, I'm going to give a wiggling thumb, sort of halfway up, because the production value, the music, it was like, oh, this is kind of nice. But I have to give a thumbs down because for a thriller, I wasn't scared and I didn't care. So, yeah, that's my rating. Sorry,
My
Nick.
God, I didn't know that wiggly thumbs were even options. There's so many thumbs.
It's like
on
that
this.
one that wants to go up but doesn't quite make it.
Yeah.
So
It's a come see, come saw thumb.
yeah, exactly. A meh.
It's almost hang loose. Not quite.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a half a hang loose. That's right.
Mhm.
It's a hang loose-ish.
Yeah.
It is. All right, so our next trailer is kind of a surprise because Steve mentioned it, and I didn't realize they dropped one recently, but we're going to do WandaVision next. We play that beautiful trailer, please. Awesome. Okay, so I'm limited only to my phone, so I can't look up any backstory on this at all, but this is the trailer for the new Disney Plus series, WandaVision, which stars two people whose names have completely left my mind because I don't have my notes in front of me.
It's Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen.
Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany. Yep.
I'm sorry, I had everything up on my computer and the internet gave out. So.
It's
All
a
right, so
miniseries,
Steve, you were the
by
one.
way.
It is? Oh, okay. So you were the one who was so excited about this. So tell us what you think about this trailer.
I love this trailer. I am so charmed by this trailer all the way through. It's so different. And that's what I love. I'm a big fan of the MCU. And one of the things that I love about the MCU is, we're like 25 or so films deep or something at this point, I think. And, they constantly find new things to do. It's not that they never repeat themselves, but we have, a lot of different types of films that they, will, sort of designate for their characters. Like, Ant-Man, who'd have thought that Ant-Man was going to be a heist film? It's just very different. And this is so incredibly much more different than any of the different things we've seen so far. It's kind of a big question mark. What is this? I love old movies. I love old TV shows. It's what I loved about Ant-Man is especially the first one was all the 50s sensibilities that it had, especially with the design of the suit and some of the cinematography as well. But this is just great. We go from Bewitched to something in the 70s. I don't know what I think I heard somebody say the set was when they go into color, the set looks quite a bit like Family Ties. And Paul Bettany as Vision, his shirt's actually kind of tucked in, just like Michael. What was their name? I don't know. Steven. I can't even remember their name. Michael Gross's character on Family Ties. But anyway, really, really cool stuff. So it hooks me. I am dying to know what's going on. I certainly have my theories, especially seeing as how I'm familiar with some of the comics and. I understand what the character that Elizabeth Olsen is playing, Scarlet Witch. I understand what she's capable of and the sort of hijinks that could be going on. But what I love is it seems that the characters don't even know. So whatever's happening, whatever crazy thing is going on, the characters really are not sure. And even then, it also seems that Scarlet Witch and Vision are actually on different pages as well, because there's a lot of shots of Vision by himself looking very confused, much less happy than Scarlet Witch is overall throughout the trailer. And I really feel like he's going to be our detective, where he's the one who's figuring out that something is amiss. We also have some really fun cameos. One of the most exciting, I think, is Teyana Paris, who is playing Monica Rambeau. You see her for 1 second. She gets kind of blasted through, it looks like a big portal, and she lands on her back, and she's got a big afro. And that is in the comics, that character is the daughter from the Captain Marvel movie with Brie Larson. So she had a very good friend, and then there are parts in that movie where she visited with her later, and she had a little daughter, and I think she like called her Aunt Carol or something. And so that little girl is all grown up now and in this movie. And a lot of people have been waiting for her to show up. And even in Captain Marvel, it was like, okay, that's the character. She actually, in the comics, is known as Captain Marvel at times. And then she's also this character Photon. So, I'm super excited about this. And it's also supposed to tie in directly to the Doctor Strange sequel, the Multiverse of Madness. I think I've played my hand at being too much of a Marvel geek at this point. So if you think less of me, I don't know what to say, but there you go.
Yeah.
No, I love Marvel. So
I'm a fan.
I'm a huge fan of the MCU because I'm surprised that I'm not Marvel movied out, because I'm really not. Like every time they come up with something new, I'm like, ooh, I still want to see that, even though it's another superhero movie.
Me too. Yeah.
So Mitch, what's your take on this?
Well, so in general, just looked completely non-Marvel, as one would kind of, I could best describe it, and which is super intriguing. Not really knowing exactly what was going on, and apparently that's the plot of the whole thing. Is that nobody really knows what's going on. That something strange is happening. It doesn't look like a superhero movie. There's no villain or anything like that. So it's super intriguing from a trailer perspective. From the actual just the construction of the trailer itself, how they go into this black and white, which apparently is part of the whole setup of the film. And or the history of it, I guess, where Vision and Wanda are in black and white in the 50s. How they played it all out and how it just kind of put it together, I think was really interesting in of itself. So we can't say much more, really than that. Other than I'm intrigued. Didn't know it existed. Had no idea. Vision and himself is whatever. I don't really know much about him either. So I'm hoping to learn something from that.
This actually dropped a few days ago. This is brand new. I think it dropped 2 or 3 days ago.
I think it was 2 days ago. Yeah. I'm so glad you brought this up, Steve, because I was so excited when I watched it, because my first thought was, oh my gosh, it's the Truman Show, and they've trapped Vision in the Truman Show somehow.
Right.
And I was like, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we're running out of time, so let's do a quick rating of this trailer. So, Steve, I think I know what your rating is going to be, but just do it anyway.
I'm gonna give, because we can just do any sort of thumbs on this show. There's just clearly
any sort of thumbs.
Yeah, anything goes. So I'm gonna do a rocket thumb. It's gonna go like this.
We've never had that before.
Never had a rocket thumb. That's pretty good, actually.
There it's over there.
It's over there somewhere. All right, and the second thumb?
Boing. I don't know.
All right, Mitch.
By the way, I remember this got teased in the Super Bowl last year, or this past Super Bowl. So the first time I'd heard of this, so but never really looked further into it, and it was really cool. And so I'm glad to see a full trailer. This is for the uniqueness of the whole production in general, and something new for Marvel. So hurrah for them, and hurrah for us and the fans. I'm kind of one that's kind of wants to go up, but I guess I'm a little skeptical with how it's all going to play out. This newness, this difference, and the fact that nobody seems to know much about it, including the actors, the characters in the show. So.
All right, I'm going to have to give it a solid 2 thumbs up, because it surprised me. It made me giggle, and I was like, oh, I wonder if I'm right. So now I have to watch it. So. All right, so when we come back, we're going to talk to Steve Van Samson about his cool vampire series. But before we do that, why don't you watch this trailer for his new book?
And welcome back, everybody. KJ is off trying to figure out what's going on with her cameras. So she's trying to get back on her laptop, and technology, always a beautiful thing. And as promised, we're here with Steve Van Samson, an author. Where are you from, Steve? I get your address, your city and state.
Sure. I'm from Massachusetts. I live currently in Lancaster, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Kind of near Worcester. But I am an author, as you said. And Well, I'll let you ask the questions.
That's great. Yeah. That's what hosts are for.
Yeah.
In general.
So there's your answer. There you go.
I was trying to introduce you to, as a local guy. So you're, from the New England area, which is always awesome, at seeing success and from, people, close to home. So
there's a pretty thriving author community in Massachusetts. And, I've been sort of plugged into it for, I don't know, about 5 or 6 years or so at this point. Maybe a couple of years before I put out my first book. And it's just been amazing. Like, I get to meet so many awesome people that I then eventually, call friends, KJ, case in point. It's just been awesome. Virtually everybody that I've met, except for Tom Deedy. No, I love Tom Deedy. I'm just kidding. Holston's own Tom Deedy is an amazing.
No bad blood there.
I am kidding. He's my dad. He's my dad, actually.
Oh. Good thing you picked that up.
No, they're all so incredibly generous and awesome, and everybody helps each other out. Nobody's competing for anything. It's just it's wonderful. So I think that's almost my favorite part of this whole author journey. But I do love to create. So this is a really great outlet for me as well. It's wonderful. So your latest creation, I presume, is the name of Slay. Yes. So Slay is not my creation. This is an anthology that I am a part of. It is put out by Mocha Memoirs Press, and it is a very, very exciting book. I am so incredibly thrilled to be a part of this. You guys have no idea. So my first 2 books that I put out in 2017 are vampire books, as has been mentioned. They are post-apocalyptic vampire books. They take place in Africa. Oh, there we go. Thanks, KJ.
Very nice.
So they take place in Africa. They are not stranger in a strange land sort of tales. They star Africans. So it was a decision I made early on because I wanted to treat vampires biologically and treat them as if they were in the food chain. What would happen if they were a real organism? What would happen? And I thought, well, they're going to go through more than people. You can. If they're truly like a monstrous sort of animal type vampire, you're not talking like the sophisticated suit wearing sexy types that can cull their herd and, figure out how to keep the humans in check. These are animals essentially. So if that happens, they're just going to blast through their food source, and they might like humans best, but guess what? When there's no more humans, they're not going to be picky. So my books are set 25 years after whatever happened with the vampire apocalypse. Whatever happened. And at this point in time, there really isn't a lot left other than things that have really sharp teeth and want to kill and eat other things. So there's no zebras, no antelope or anything like that. For the most part, they're all gone. And we have basically a world of predators. So the series is called Predator World. The first book is The Bone Eater King. And it is just, Africa was a perfect place for me to set this because there's, not only do we get this wonderful diversity in character for spec fiction, which I believe is a very important thing just overall. There's also, this is a new setting. People don't generally think of Africa when they think of vampires. Or black people, it's everything. All vampires are pasty white Europeans, for the most part, and so this was a fun, different sort of angle on that, and so anyway, there's a lot of things in Africa that can kill you besides
the African setting, you mentioned the fact that there's a diversity in environments, and then the plethora of animals and creatures and things that you got to work with, for all intents and purposes. I want to get off script too much, but are there any other things besides the humanoids that become vampires? Are there animals? I'm just curious. Do the animals become vampires too?
The animals do not become vampires, but if you read both books, you will see that there are two species of animals that are a little bit not right. And there is a very specific reason why, and I won't give it away. You got to read the books.
Cool.
But,
all right, right on.
It's mostly humans that get affected by the disease or the virus or whatever. But there's still lions, there's still hyenas, there's still leopards, there's still lots of stuff out there that can kill you. And so anyway, with that background, when Slay came around, back to Slay, and I found out that there was going to be this anthology that was literally centering on black vampires. I couldn't believe it. I jumped at it and was fortunate enough that they accepted my story. And I am actually one of 29 authors in this. Absolutely an amazing table of contents on this thing. Some of these, a lot of women. That's the other thing. A lot of women are in this book. There's only like 2 or 3 dudes in this book, counting myself, mostly women. I think maybe 4 guys out of the 29 authors or so. Don't quote me, but mostly women. So this is like just a really, really amazing anthology to be a part of. And I just am so thankful that they accepted my story. I decided to do a tie-in story to my novels. So if you read my story in Slay, it goes directly into the Bone Eater King. It's like a direct prequel to the events of that book.
Oh, that's pretty cool. KJ, you probably have the question, but I want to ask, how did you find out about this opportunity, and what was the process that you went through in order to partake?
My very good friend, author Paul McNamee, sent me an email, not an email. I mean, we are 100, but it wasn't an email. It was a message. And he just basically said something to the effect of, Steve, clearly you have to submit a story to this. And I said, yeah.
I guess, yeah. Bird dog.
So I just followed the rules. I followed their guidelines for what they were looking for, word count, and submitted just like a lot of other people. From what I understand, there was around 80 submissions, and they dwindled, they focused it down to 29, which is a huge anthology. Most anthologies have 15 or so at most. That's a 15 authors, 15 stories is a great anthology. That's a huge anthology. Plenty or less than that. So for 29, this is going to be an absolute monster of a book.
I like the way you said that.
That's funny.
All right, so I actually did have a question about vampires, but when you think of vampires, besides your own, when you think of like a classic, this is what, a vampire is, who are you thinking of, or which version of vampires are you thinking of? Because I'm guessing it's not the Twilight version of vampires.
Definitely not. No, in fact, I often, if we're at conventions or whatever, I always get laughs if I say, oh, and my mind don't sparkle,
I appreciate that.
These are totally non-dateable. I like the scary kind. I as I said, am just a huge fan of old movies. I love Bela Lugosi so much. Overall, just not specifically even from Dracula. I love him in Dracula. I love him, period. Like, I've read biographies on Bela Lugosi. I think he's great. And so I will say that. I will put that out there. But he wasn't really that much of a vampire. He doesn't even have fangs, for crying out loud. I mean, he doesn't. Like, it's funny. You never see him bite anybody. He doesn't have fangs. But it's a heck of a performance, obviously, a legendary performance. But, if I'm gonna pick something that's not that old, I'm gonna go 30 Days of Night, because that movie was, again, it's like, all right, where have we not seen vampires? They set it in it was in Alaska, but it looked like, it's just the Arctic for all you knew. It's just snow and it's just eternally night. Like, what a great high concept for a vampire story. I mean, that's just insane. I know it was a comic book series. I never read it, but really, really cool. I will say, though, for my wife, who I think is watching, she always says this whenever we watch that movie, is they are so wasteful in 30 Days of Night. They're there. They've come all this way across the ocean on the wrong side just so nobody will get them. And then they I swear they have maybe one mouthful per person of blood because they friggin' spray it everywhere. It's just everywhere. I mean, it's just everywhere. I don't know what they're trying to do. They're literally painting the town red. I don't know. But that's a great vampire movie, and those were scary vampires too. I really dug the aesthetics of that movie.
I really, really prefer vampires when they're just scary. I want to be terrified to, be in the dark after I watch this movie. We have to take a break, and when we come back, Steve is going to talk about his new book, which is not related to this vampire series. So you want to hear about this, so stay tuned.
Hey, Terry, how's it going?
Hey, this laptop's having sound issues again.
Yeah, it seems to be a common theme around here.
Why would this stupid thing work?
Oh, I know IT. Let me take a look.
I feel like this happens every week. We really need to get on top of this.
I'm sure Dan's doing the best that he can.
Yeah, Dan.
Oh, there it is. You had it muted.
I did not have it muted.
And?
Damn it, Dan.
And we are back, and we were talking with Steve Van Samson, and he was telling us about his vampire series, Predator World, which is set in Africa. He has a new short story out in the Anthology series Slay, so definitely look for that. We're going to put links down below. But right now, we're going to go from vampires to his new book. Steve, tell us all about that.
I would love to. So this book is called Mark of the Witchworm, and this is something that I've been working on for about 3 years. I think from start to finish. It takes me a while to write books. This is my longest. I will say that it's going to be about just shy of 400 pages or so. So it's not nothing. But yeah, it's taken me a while and everything. But the idea of this book has been with me for about 2 decades. I should say the world of this book has been with me for that long. For the longest time, I actually planned on the main character being a different person, and then I decided to write a prequel to all of my ideas. And my thought was I wanted a Conan character, and I love adventure. I love sword and sorcery. I don't really like high fantasy too much. I love Lord of the Rings, but I generally like it when it's more grounded and serious. And this is definitely a fantasy book. It is I want to call it like dark fantasy. It does take place up in the Arctic sort of region. It's high. It's not on Earth, but high in the north where there's all the snow and stuff. And so the whole book is very cold feeling. And at its core, this is a story about a man who is trying to desperately find the cure for his dying son. So it is a world of, it's not wizards, it's more alchemists. It's not, magic spells. It's more like, plague doctors, and there are black powder pistols and stuff, single shot flintlock type things. But a lot of it's swords and axes, stuff like that. So I like to say to people, it's definitely, if you're a fan of like The Witcher and you're a fan of Game of Thrones, it's that type of fantasy. It's more gritty, serious, monster-based. There's a lot of monster stuff in here, and we have sort of a mythic hero, but I like to deconstruct archetypes that are a little on the over-the-top side. So this guy is a mythic hero type, but I think as it goes, you'll find out that there's more to him than that, and he is very single-minded in his quest. He's looking for a cure for his son, and we catch up to him at the very end of a 5-month journey. So this is sort of like what George Lucas did with the original trilogy, right? He said at the time, like, I had all these other ideas. I want to start it on episode 4. This is like my episode 4 because it starts when it gets good. You know what I mean? Like I could have followed him for 5 months, I guess, but I want to tell this story. And it ended up being almost 400 pages. So, it's there's plenty. There's plenty at the end.
Do you have midichlorians in your story?
What's that?
I said, do you have midichlorians in your story?
There are no midichlorians in Mark of the Witchworm.
Well, thank God. I'll probably love it then. So, is this like an epic quest story, or is it grounded in one area? Like, how does this story work?
Well, I would say it's an epic quest that we're seeing the very end of.
Okay.
Like I said, so, he's been on the road for this amount of time. It's him and his horse. I invented a breed of horse and the culture that the main character is from. I love pushing diversity in character. And so the main character of this is not Native American because there is no America, but he is very much based on Native Americans. He looks like a Native American. He is often called a Blackfoot, though it is made clear that that's not a tribe. It's actually what they call, it's a colloquialism for the type of hunter that he is. And he's sort of this guy who back home, what he does is they ride out onto this big raging black river, like picture the Nile, but it's just black, and it's black with like sediment based and like plant matter. And there are these massive eels and monsters and stuff that come up from the depths of this just gigantic river that has this, big Marianas Trench in the middle of it because it's, like 2 miles wide. And so what they do is they ride out on these huge horses and they will jump on the backs of these eels, and they have like a team of hunters hanging on to the other ends of these chained harpoons. And so it's the one guy, the lead hunter, which is our main hero guy. It's his job to basically jump from the horse when the time is right and pound in these like foot-long harpoon stakes into the back of the eel. And then all the other guys back there who are holding onto the chains will tow it back to shore. And that's how they live. That's their culture. That's how they hunt. That's how they eat. And so this horse is a big, very different looking horse. I like to say it's about the size of a Clydesdale, but the legs are a little longer. So where he is, he's quite a sight. He's a big dude. He's riding this weird looking horse, and he's very much a stranger in a strange land. Like I said, Predator World wasn't, but this definitely is. He's a Native American man who is pretty much the place is kind of like early Germany or Sweden or something like that. I like to think of where he ends up in the journey. So I would say epic journey, but we get it when it starts to get good.
That sounds amazing. That's really cool. So you have sort of a Native American element in it, which I really love. Are there any other like Western themes in it, or do you stick more closely to like a European style fantasy adventure?
I really tried to think more of like the Tolkien side of things when I was writing this. So I mean, it is. I don't know how Western it really is. That's a good question. I mean, it's Western in the sense that, you could say he blows into town and, from parts unknown and then rides off into the sunset, sort of like he's got that hero's journey for sure. So yeah, I guess, I didn't think of it that way, but, you could certainly say that it does play out like a Western. Actually, there's other stuff. Wow. Maybe I wrote a Western.
I'm sorry.
The way you were describing it, I started thinking about.
Oh, cool.
I do love Westerns
myself, but the way you were describing it first, I couldn't help but start thinking about like things like the Dark Tower or Van Helsing. That kind of a feel. It's just really kind of almost, I don't want to say steampunk, but it's that mixture of technology and grassroots.
Yes, I actually really love the mixture, like in the Final Fantasy games, when whenever you have something that's forgotten culture, but the culture that's been forgotten is high tech. That's really fun. I considered doing that and I pulled back. So we don't actually have that in this, but I do love that. I do love that sensibility. It's a great mashup. I love genre mashups anyway. So I was very happy writing this, and I feel like seeing I want to see I picture everything like it's a movie as I write. That's just I'm very visual.
You said Final Fantasy, and now I have to read this book.
I know. I'm like,
reference.
Well, then I said it wasn't.
Guy rides into
Then you said it
town.
wasn't, but I know.
I
But now
considered
you're just
doing
way cooler, so I have to like.
I definitely pulled back on the idea that there was too much technology. I did put flintlock pistols in there, and they do play a part. They're not there for no reason. And I considered the thing that I teetered on was gaslight. Gaslighting, not the verb. But when he goes into this big city, I considered having there be gaslight lanterns all around. And I felt like that was a little bit too modern feeling, and I just took it out. So it is supposed to feel like another time, another place, like at the beginning of Dark Tower, where they have that wonderful title card, and they just say it's the age of wonder, another time, another world. That's kind of how I feel about this. Like I never named the world. I don't think you need to always name a world. Like who walks around talking about Earth?
Right. Yeah.
Especially when you live on it and you're not aware that there's anything else. Like you only know it when there's Mars that you could be from Mars or
It's only important if there are other worlds that are involved, really, to reference.
Right.
Exactly.
Oh
So I never bothered like naming it, but maybe it's just a big, with all the Western stuff that I didn't realize was even in there. Maybe it's just a big fat prequel to Jenny Goodnight. I mean, I had no idea.
We all know there's a hidden tie there. Oh my gosh, I can see the visual now of the guy riding into town. I'm like, I have to watch this movie, and the smoke from the black powder and monsters. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is everything that I love, except for the actual character of Jenny Goodnight.
Yeah, the actual Jenny Goodnight doesn't make an appearance. But what you will meet is the Witchworm, and that is our titular villain / monster. Definitely tried to come up with something a little bit different. And I will say that while there is action throughout, there are periods there, it ebbs and flows. The last fifth of the book or so or maybe even a little bit more than a fifth, is them legitimately in one giant long battle with the Witchworm. And it does not take place in one spot. It is a long, involved sort of a thing. It is a big battle sequence that I wasn't sure if I was just going overboard with, but the readers liked it, and I was kind of wondering if I was gonna hear back and be like, "Listen, man, maybe cut that battle down," and nobody said that. So hopefully, people enjoy it and like a lot of action. And I really tried to treat the character of the Witchworm as something precious, where you hear about it and you don't see it until you see it, and then when you see it, like it's on. Now we're here. We're fighting Godzilla now. This is it. Like Godzilla's here. We're not gonna like see you later, Godzilla. We'll catch it like let's say like 5 o'clock. All right, we'll be back. Actually, Godzilla's over here.
Well, of course you have Godzilla.
Godzilla.
That's amazing. That's so funny that you said that, because actually with Jenny Goodnight, the final sequence in that, I thought I went too far and no one complained about it, so I got away with it.
There you go. You never know.
Yeah, it's like it worked for me, but it doesn't always work for other people. That book sounds amazing. Is it available now, or when's it coming out?
It is not available now, but pre-orders go live October 23rd, and that is going to be can I say where they do the pre-buys or no?
Yeah, you just say for more information.
Oh, for more information, please visit roughhousepublishing.com. This is really extra exciting too, because this is Rough House Publishing's first novel. They are a comic book publisher that I fell in with a couple of years ago, maybe about a year and a half ago, and I have done some comic book work with them. I was in Gore Shriek Resurrectus Volume 2. I had a story in that, which was really fun. That was my first comic story, and I have more coming out with them, and we just decided the heck with it. Let's try putting out a book. So we'll see. Hopefully people buy it.
That's nice. So do you do art as well, or did you write the script for the comic?
I didn't do any of the art for the comic. I am an artist. I do actually the I'll shout out real quick. Mark Bloodworth did the art for my story in Gore Streak Resurrectus Volume 2. That story was called The Nowhere Man. And he's just an amazing artist. Definitely look him up on Facebook. His stuff is just ridiculous. Mark Bloodworth is awesome. And he was actually on the original run of the Gore Streak series is actually a like creep show, like a little bit more violent, a little bit more gross, but creep show like anthology comic series that ran in the 80s, in the late 80s to early 90s. And he was actually one of the original artists on the original run. But anyway, I am an artist. I do stuff. So we are going to be having, when this pre-order goes live, it's going to be nuts. We're going to do a lot of stuff. Rough House is known for going big. They don't go home. I know the house is like in the name, but they don't go big. They go big. That's it. They don't go home. And so there's going to be like lots of extra stuff in there. There's going to be for sure posters. And I think we're doing like, a pin and I don't know, different stuff. There's going to be a hardcover and a soft cover, and there's like the Rough House edition comes with a bunch of extra stuff. Like, it's going to be awesome. So that goes live on October 23rd. So please follow me on Facebook if you can, and I will be posting about it quite a bit when we get closer to that date. And definitely for more information, again, roughhousepublishing.com. It's a fun website anyway. And yeah, pretty excited.
Right. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm going to have to definitely check that out.
Congratulations.
All right, so roughhousepublishing.com, and look up Steve Van Samson on Facebook for more information. We have to take a break, and when we come back, we're doing a game. We're going to torture Steve, I think, and it's going to be great fun. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
No!
Again.
What's going on?
Well, we're trying to film a promo for the early late night live show, but Facebook Live keeps kicking us off.
Technical difficulties. Tell me about it.
Oh, okay. All right, here we go. All right. It's the early late night live. Let's see how I can.
What are you trying to say?
Well, that people should watch the show because we have so much fun, talk entertainment news and, things like that. And, of course, my segment.
Yeah.
I swear, Facebook hates us.
Hey, maybe if we do this.
Ooh. Oh.
Whoops. Accidental selfie.
Yeah. Okay. Look, let me.
I got it.
No. You apparently don't.
No, I.
You don't actually know what you're doing. All right.
It's my phone.
Yeah. No. Listen, let me do it. Let me do it.
Guys.
You act like such a girl.
Oh my gosh, you think
Guys.
that? What?
We're live.
Hey. Join us Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Exeter Channel 98.
And on YouTube when it works.
And we'll talk entertainment news and trash some trailers. And then, of course, we've got my segment. So don't miss it. Join us on Wednesday night at 7 p.m.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Siblings.
And we're back, and I'm turning the controls of this show over to Mitch Fortier, who's going to lead us in a game.
I don't want to.
You have to. It's in the contract.
All right. Hey, you had an idea. Actually, I want to take advantage of the opportunity myself too, because I've been seeing a lot of new shows lately. But you want to give a quick review of something that we've seen, like a minute review of a show or TV show that we've seen recently? Yeah,
we could do that. If you'd like. I don't want to cut into your game time though.
No, it's fine. It's not a problem. Yeah, these games can be short. They can be long. We may end up having plenty of time. Trust me.
All right. So so I was telling Mitch before the show that I started watching Yellowstone, which is, I believe, the TBS series. I believe it's on TBS with Kevin Costner, and I've been watching it on Amazon Prime. And it's awesome. It's got cowboys, it's got intrigue, it's got dirty dealings, it's just so much fun to watch. It's a modern day cowboy drama, and I think we reviewed the trailer a few months back, and I just wanted to give a shout out to it and say, yes, definitely watch this show. It's got guns, it's got cowboys, it's got Indians, it's got law, it's got everything. So watch it. That's my shout out.
Nice. And so I want to say that I actually went out and watched Peaky Blinders, the first episode.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't get into it. I just couldn't bring myself to watch a second one. I'm like, I really feel like I should to give it a chance. And I was not intrigued. It wasn't congealed. It wasn't congruent enough. It wasn't congealed enough. I didn't feel like it really introduced me enough to characters or to story, or didn't bring me into the story enough. So we didn't get around to watching a second episode. But something that's kind of fun to kind of just kick back and watch, kind of like Friends in a way, is this show called Community. It's on Netflix, and it's a comedy that is just fun to watch. I mean, the characters are really good and very committed to their characters, and they mix it up with these weird, strange scenarios, and so it's funny. It makes me laugh out loud, which I don't do often with television shows. So, Community on Netflix would be my comedy recommendation. You have any recommendations, Steve? Like to share?
Sure. First of all, Community is brilliant, and after season 1, it really just throws the format out the window. That show is insane. Donald Glover is amazing on that show. Just a great show. I have been watching The Boys on Amazon Prime.
Ooh, I've been wanting to watch that.
Yeah, it's a heck of a show. I will say I'm about maybe like 3 episodes deep in season 2, so I haven't seen all of the episodes in season 2 yet. I loved season 1. I think season 2 is good. I like season 1 better so far, but wow, what an awesome show. I really, really enjoy it. And that's based on the Garth Ennis, who is the writer of the Preacher series, which I adored. And I don't know, KJ, clearly you're a Western fan. I don't know how down and dirty you like your down and dirty, because it's pretty down and dirty, but it's a great series. It's comic books, but wow, the Boys is insane. I haven't read the Boys comics, and I've heard that some things in the show are a little bit different, but love it. Awesome stuff.
Yeah, I don't know much about it. It's cool. Umbrella Academy is another one I've been watching, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really into.
Yeah, I liked both seasons.
So cool. So all right, hold on. Let me get my game on. It's a very important step involved here.
Is the game your pants?
Almost. It is visual. It is aesthetic.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
All right. Okay. Now I feel complete.
The game wasn't pants after all.
Sorry. Sorry to disappoint.
That's okay.
So we'd like to start our games off with the name game, which, if you're familiar with it, is simply somebody names an actor, first name, last name. Like, for example, Sylvester Stallone, right? Both of his names begin with S, so it's kind of a bad example. But the next person will take the first letter of this last name and come up with another actor whose first name begins with that letter.
Gotcha.
And we go around the circle, and the idea, and I'm going to usually ask Dan to bring up a timer, and I will see if he's able to do that. If not, I can certainly bring one up on my phone. But we're going to do this for a minute. We'll see how many between the three of us we can actually nail down and going around in a circle. So,
right.
So Steve, I'm going to give you the honor of coming up with the first name. And then we'll go to KJ and then myself, and we'll keep going around until the timer is over. So, Dan, if you have a timer available, just start it when you hear the first name from Steve, and we will go from there. All right, go for it, Steve.
Well, since I'm wearing a shirt that says Vincent Price, I'm going to go with Vincent Price.
All right.
Nice. Now I'm like, oh no, I have to think of someone whose name begins with a P.
I know, right?
I'm like, Peggy Lee.
Oh, with who? What's the last name?
Lee. L.
Lee. Lou Ferrigno.
Ooh, good one.
Francis McDermott.
Ooh, Michael Douglas.
Danny Glover.
Gary Busey.
B, right?
I don't see the timer, Dan, so you'll have to let me know. Oh, I see it now.
Yeah, B. Oh my gosh, there must be a B.
There's so many B's.
All I can think of is Ben Grimm, but he's a character, not an actor. I got nothing. I can't believe I couldn't come up with a B.
See, I would have gone Bruce Campbell on that.
Oh, yeah, that would have been good.
And I don't have anything either, so I was just
I
going
could have done Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. The late night host guy that I think is legitimately he's can be considered an actor, but why can't I remember his name? Oh my God! Because of the no, yeah. So all right, so we got to 7 on that one. Do we want to try this one more time?
Sure.
Okay. See if we can top 7. This actually might be a good way to kind of format this game too, to see if we can best ourselves.
All right.
Okay. All right. So KJ, I'll give you the honor of starting the game, and Dan, if you're ready.
Bruce Campbell.
Charlie Sheen.
All I'm getting is Scott Bakula because I'm mad at him currently. But
oh, well, that's a good one.
Another B.
Yeah. Benedict Cumberbatch. Ha!
There you go. All right. It's Charlie Chaplin.
Oh.
Charlize Theron.
That's a T. Probably can't do Terry Traynor. Oh, what the hell? Terry Traynor. He's an actor.
That's true. Yeah, we can. Tawny Katane. Does that count? And I think her last name starts with a K, which is I'm really sorry about.
Kathy Ireland.
Nice. 2 seconds left.
Kathy Ireland is cinch it. Boom. I believe I ended both of those trains.
Well done.
Well done.
So we got to 9. So we we topped it. Yeah, that's awesome. Well done. I was like, for sure I thought Kay was going to stump, but not even close.
No. And the best I could come up with is Isaac Asimov, and I'm like, he's not an actor.
I was thinking Kevin Costner.
Oh, yeah. Kevin Bacon.
There you go. There's all kinds of K's that are laying around there just waiting to be picked up.
Yep.
And yet somehow Kathy Ireland is what was on the top of
Sure.
I have no idea why that would be. Why the first thought would be Kathy Ireland and not Kevin Costner for you.
I actually haven't thought of Kathy Ireland in about 27 years.
I don't think anybody else has either.
Wow.
Yeah, I love National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1, okay?
Yeah, no, the Pepsi commercials was like the last time right? All right, so let's see. We got a little time left here still. What time is it?
How much time do we have left?
No? All right, ready? Quick one.
Yeah, really quick.
All right, six. Actually, you know what? I'm going to call it. We're going to end it there. I think it was fun. And we'll give you guys some time to wrap things up.
All right. So Steve wants to give one more shout out. Go ahead, Steve.
That's right. I actually have one more anthology appearance that I would like to shout out. It's called More Lore from the Mythos, Volume 2. It's going to be put out by Fractured Mind Publishing. And if you guys are interested in Lovecraftian type stuff, this is actually number 2. So there is a More Lore from the Mythos 1 that was out last year that I was also in. If you are interested in that kind of stuff, definitely check it out. And the new one is actually coming out, I believe, October 17th was the date, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah. For more information, check out Fractured Mind Publishing. They are on the web, they are on Facebook, and there you go. There's no pre-buy anyway, so I can't even screw that up.
Well,
I can't say the wrong thing on this one.
As for me, since we did bring up Jenny Goodnight a lot, I'm just going to shout out to that. For more information, go to www.killarneytrainer.com. Check out Jenny Goodnight. You'll find out what we were talking about.
And I might as well shout out Spin the Plate. We're actually going to be showing in some theaters down in Massachusetts again next in a couple of weeks. So our film is actually on the big screen one more time. Just find spintheplate.com for more information.
Nice. All right, so that's our show for tonight. Next week, we have Dan Demers of the Strand in Dover. You'll definitely want to stay tuned for that. He's got tons of stories, and all of them are funny, so definitely stay tuned for that. I'm KJ Traynor with my co-host Mitch Fortier and our special guest Steve Van Samson. Be sure to check out their websites for more information. We are the Early Late Night Live Show. We're on every Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, Exeter Channel 98, and on YouTube. So thank you for being here, and we'll see you next week.
Hey, thanks for watching the Early Late Night Live Show. We are on every Wednesday night live at Exeter Studios in Exeter, New Hampshire, 7 p.m. every Wednesday night. Please make sure to join us next week for more entertainment, comedy, and information that is probably not that important or timely, but no sports or no politics, so there's that. To find out more about my film company, make sure to check out narrowstreetfilms.com. To find out more about Killarney's writing, make sure you check out KillarneyTraynor.com. To find out more about Mitch and his acting, I'm sure he's got a website. I keep forgetting the name of it. I'll write it down here. To find out more about the wonderful studio that we produce at Exeter Studio, go to exeternh.tv. They're a great studio, and they're doing a lot of cool things. But please make sure to like us on Facebook, and please, please, please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell and like, and make sure that you share with your friends and enemies alike, because we don't judge that much. See you next week.